This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another late night edition of the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel as the Cubs lose 5-2 to the San Francisco Giants. Lots to talk about on this one tonight. Matthew Boyd was attacked early in counts that really benefited the Giants. The Cubs left a lot of guys on base. Matt Shaw impresses until he's taken out of the game by Craig Counsell. I have questions about how Craig Counsell managed the end of the game. Look, it is 11:16 at night as we are live here on YouTube. So we're going to take the opportunity to ask a couple questions about what's the strategy behind what Craig Counsell is doing, because I'm just very curious what the plan's going to be come playoff time. But Joe George here with you on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. We'll welcome in your comments here on YouTube as well. Shout out to everyone listening on the audio platforms as well, Apple and Spotify. So we'll start with Matthew Boyd. Okay, so Matthew Boyd, I think overall, like, he was fine in this game. Like, I think his box score versus what was really happening out there, I feel like they tell two different stories. So when he wasn't attacked on basically the first pitch of the game or the first pitch of an at-bat, he was really good. But the Giants had a clear plan going into this game that they were going to attack early. And when they did that, they were very successful. So my biggest question, starting with Matthew Boyd in this one, / Carson Kelly / Tommy Hotovy, is where was the pivot? Like where was the change of, okay, they're so aggressive on the first pitch of every at-bat. They're coming at you relentlessly. Why not change in this game your strategy a little bit? And it cost them in the end. It wasn't Matthew Boyd's fault for this one. There were so many guys left on base from the first inning through the fifth inning, but they got to him early. But the frustration with this one is what happened at the end of the game. And we're going to get right to it. We'll get back to the offense. I don't quite understand what's happening at the end of the game. Now, was I hoping for some Cubs magic tonight? Yes, it'd be nice to see. The Cubs are playing much better baseball of late, but we're still like, it's still like that last box that's left to check off is where's the rally when you need it. They're not having that moment just yet. And tonight felt like a good one. Dansby Swanson gets on, but then Craig Counsell starts to make some interesting moves. He puts in Willie Castro instead of Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw, who was playing elite level defense tonight, and also had one of the Cubs' 2 clutch hits in this game. Why? What's the strategy there? And it doesn't mean the Cubs are going to win the game if Matt Shaw is at the plate, but why is he in? Why is he there? Why do you take him out of the game? JD said it on the broadcast. Willie Castro is a 281 career pitch hitter. Those are really good stats for sure. I just cannot fundamentally agree with taking Matt Shaw out of the game. Gamer here says in the chat, the analytics said to remove Shaw. Yeah, I get it. I get it. The analytics say it. Whatever the analytics are. I don't know what analytics you're talking about, but it's whatever you're saying, Gamer, is what the Cubs agree with. Is that the analytics say against the right, you take Matt Shaw out of the game in a situation and when he's your best player on the Cubs since the All-Star break, and it's not particularly close how good he's been. As Caleb says here in the chat, Matt Shaw gives you a better chance of getting a hit. I totally agree, and it's nothing against Willie Castro. He's put some good contact, throughout his time as a member of the Cubs, his short amount of time. Have the results been great? Absolutely not, but he's put some good swings out there. But I just do not fundamentally agree to take out Matt Shaw in a decision like this because he's been your best hitter. Analytics should not overpower it. And let's say for a second here, it's not analytics. Let's say it's a gut feeling. Well, then Craig Counsell, I hate your gut feeling. Not you, but your gut feeling. I don't like it. Whatever the decision is, I do not like it for Matt Shaw to come out of the game in that moment. He shouldn't be. He should be out there in the 9th inning. So my question is twofold. He's part one. The next at-bat's part 2. In a playoff game, is that the decision that Craig Counsell is going to make? That's my question. My gut tells me the answer is yes. That in a situation like this, when the Cubs are playing the Brewers in a 5-game series in the NLDS or in a 7-game series in the NLCS, or they're in the World Series, whatever it is, or just the wild card round, that Craig Counsell is going to take Matt Shaw out of the game in that situation, and I don't get it. it doesn't mean the Cubs win this baseball game, but Matt Shaw deserves to be at the plate in that position. He's deserved it more than anyone else on the team to have the opportunity to get Dansby Swanson over, to bring up Owen Casey, to then try to bring up Kyle Tucker to try to win this baseball game. Instead, you go with the veteran in that situation. And I just don't like it. It makes no sense. Mike says here in the chat, no one gets it, Joe. You're right. No one gets it besides Craig Counsell. And he's going to give some ho-hum answer about like why he did it, if he's even asked about it, which he probably won't be, to be honest with you, since they're on the road and the full media is not there. But I don't agree with that decision. The other part of this inning, the ninth inning, and when you think about the long-term implications of a game like tonight, early on in the season, the Cubs would not play Michael Busch versus lefties, right? It was very annoying. I didn't get it. I hated it. Finally, Craig Counsell has moved off that train. He bats Nico Horner leadoff. He bats Michael Busch lower in the lineup. But we're still seeing him do a lot of what we saw tonight, which is put in Justin Turner in a pinch-hitting situation early in the game against a lefty. Now, logically, this one I understand more of. I get why in the 6th or 7th inning, whenever it was, you make the decision to put in Justin Turner in that moment against a lefty. It does make sense. The problem with it is what we saw there then in the 9th, which is what is a long-term problem, not a short-term problem for the Cubs, because your lineup rolls over, a righty is on the mound, and instead of having Michael Busch at the plate, you have Justin Turner at the plate, who then turns into Owen Casey at the plate. A player who's playing his 9th career Major League Baseball game is being asked to go against a closer for the Giants, who's still pretty good, no matter what the Giants' record is this year, and being asked to to move Dansby Swanson over to bring Kyle Tucker up to the plate. So again, I get why Justin Turner comes in, but what I don't like about it is that there's always, if it's that early like it was tonight, there's another at-bat where you could have used Michael Busch in a better situation. Same thing with Matt Shaw here. It doesn't mean the Cubs win. It doesn't guarantee anything. The result most likely, honestly, is the same for the Cubs tonight against the Giants. But when you think about the big picture of the Cubs, I do not like those two decisions. I would rather see Matt Shaw up there. He deserves the at-bats. And I would rather see Michael Busch up there against lefties because he deserves them, A, against lefties. He's never going to get better if he doesn't get to do them, get to face those guys. And B, if the lineup rolls over, it's not going to happen. Mark says here, Busch sucked today. Yeah, for sure. Busch, I mean, look, he's been struggling. And that's, you can't deny that. So, maybe it is different right now. I think that's a fair point by Mark. That, Busch hasn't been good lately. He's part of the core group of Cubs players 1 through 4 that are batting 1 through 4 that haven't been particularly good. I think that's totally fair, but it's uninspiring in that moment for me to see Justin Turner come in, and then in the next at bat, it has to be Owen Casey versus a closer in which he's only again playing in his 9th game of the season. John says here, I want to see Happ and Suzuki on the bench. Something interesting was said tonight by Jim DeShays during the broadcast that I'm going to keep an eye on. I think we all kind of get it now, right? We're all Cubs fans here. We get when you hear these guys, they've got some homerism to them. We all we love these guys for the most part. When JD says things though, it catches my ear as if he's questioning what's happening with the Cubs or what's potentially coming next. And tonight he talked about how Kyle Tucker has turned it around since his couple of days off. And he asked the question, if maybe the same thing will happen next with, say, Suzuki. These guys fly with the team. They're in the same hotel as the team. They're around Craig Counsell every day. So it's something for me to now keep an eye on over the next maybe week and a half. That maybe it's longer than Cubs fans, just like Kyle Tucker wanted a break for Suzuki to happen. But maybe it's something that could actually be on the horizon. A lot of the comments here in the chat on YouTube are, where is Owen Casey? Why is Owen Casey on the team? If, say, Suzuki is struggling this way, I really don't understand the logic of not trying the same thing you just tried with Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker was clearly healthy. He was just in an all-time slump before the Angels series. So I would be fine if they tried the same thing just to get Owen Casey some at-bats again. I said this the other day. I think it was on Sunday's show. I can't just keep hoping that they're going to change, that Owen Casey's going to be playing every single day. I'd like them to, but I just don't think we can expect him to be in the lineup at this point. Reggie says, you guys are ignorant, pretending like Casey was going to make some huge difference. Just stop. Okay, look, I don't think anyone was expecting Owen Casey to come up here, Reggie. And maybe I know you're talking more to the chat than you are to me particularly, but Owen Casey, I think we just all expected him to just play more frequently than he is now. And if you're going to give someone a day off like you did Kyle Tucker, probably the same thing should apply to Seiya Suzuki. So, but it's not just the ninth inning. That's not the reason why the Cubs lost this game. It's not just the fact that the Giants were attacking Matthew Boyd early in this game. At the end of the day, the Cubs left a lot of guys on base, which has been the story of the post-All-Star break part of the season, that the Cubs have guys there and they're just not slugging in the way they are. So we'll go through those. We'll take more of your questions and comments here in the chat on the Locked on Cubs postcast on the Locked on Cubs YouTube channel. Today's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. It does exclude the Masters tournament, and entries end October 31st, 2025. All right, so the reason why the Cubs really lost this game, in my opinion, is not Matthew Boyd. Again, it's not what happened there in the ninth inning. While it's annoying, it's nice to talk about. It's ultimately what happened in innings 1 through 5, and then what happened after. After Carson Kelly brought a runner in, the Cubs didn't have another hit there in the ninth inning until the ninth inning with Dansby Swanson. So while they were getting guys on early, they'll go quiet for innings 6, 7, 8, and 9, and they don't give themselves the opportunity to score runs against the Giants. They dropped this little nugget there at the end of the broadcast. This was Justin Verlander's first win at the Giants' home ballpark this year. He's had a lot of bad luck this year. His numbers are not as bad as what's been around him, honestly, because the Giants are not that great of a team. They just took 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, obviously. But he's had some bad luck this year. But the Cubs are the team that he gets his first win against at the Giants Stadium in the 2025 year. So the other reason why, the main reason why the Cubs lost this game is because what happened starting in the first inning. You got 2 runners on base. Suzuki and PCA both get on there. PCA with the single, so you got runners on second and third with 2 outs. Carson Kelly strikes out. It's a bad strikeout call for sure. I'm looking forward to the challenge system coming into place, but you got runners at second and third with 2 outs. You do nothing with it. Top of the third inning, Kyle Tucker, single. Suzuki, walk, first and second with 2 outs. Pete Armstrong goes fishing for a breaking ball outside the zone in the bottom. He strikes out just again. And then at the top of the fourth inning, Ian Happ, double. So you got a runner on second base with 1 out. Dansby Swanson, he gets a walk. It's eventually first and third with 2 outs. Here comes Matt Shaw, gets the RBI single, first and third again. Michael Busch pops out into foul territory, and the Cubs can't get it done. And then at the top of the 5th inning, Pete Armstrong gets a single that he turns into a double. Carson Kelly brings him home, and that's it. Those are the 2 Cubs runs of the ball game. And then again, they didn't have a hit after Carson Kelly's RBI single until the 9th inning. So the Cubs ultimately lost this game because they had guys on base, which you could take as a positive. Like, I'm not going to, honestly, in a game like this where my expectations have been raised again by the Cubs, by their recent play. They've won the last 3 series. I still expect them to win this series. Unfortunately, Milwaukee, they pulled off their magic tonight after, nearly blowing it in their game, but they got to walk off in the 9th inning. But that's ultimately what does the Cubs in and why they lose this game versus the San Francisco Giants. It's just that you have guys on base and you don't get it done. That's ultimately why they lost today. Let's see. Twig Woodman says, I bet Matt Shaw over Chuck Norris. I think that's fair. Darren says it makes too much sense to start Casey some games and let him play. Instead, pinch hit with him in high pressure starts where you usually pinch hit for the rookie only counsel. Yeah, I think that's part of my annoyance with what happened is let's use some pretend logic here. And I think this might be part of Craig Counsell's decision making. Is you bring in a veteran for Matt Shaw and you get the lefty righty thing. I get it. But you bring in a veteran pinch hitter for him, and then you put the rookie in for Justin Turner. I don't think those things add up the way that he's handling these points. Christopher says Bat Shaw and Kelly spot. This is an interesting one. I think a lot of people are very pro Matt Shaw moving to the top of the order. Honestly, I've kind of gone back and forth with this one. I don't want to break it up for Matt Shaw. Like, I don't want to break up what he's doing. He's been so good since the All-Star break. I don't want to move him out of that spot in the lineup. I think about Dansby Swanson earlier in the season that with the Cubs moved him to the 8th spot, he was crushing the baseball. He was playing at his best. PCA was at his best when he was lower in the lineup this year. So part of me just it's not broken. It's perfect for Matt Shaw. While I'd like to see him get more bats for the Cubs, yes, I think that's obvious. We all could agree to that. At the same time, I just don't want to see Matt Shaw get ruined by the Cubs moving him up in the lineup. Mark says, "Hey Joe, is it me or Matt has a funky stance at his bats? His back is turned so far back. Again, he's currently the best Cubs hitter." Yeah, look, it's strange. But at the same time, like what Matt Shaw has done this year, like if you go back and look at like his first plate appearances, the leg kick, everything, it's so drastic for what he's doing. Matt Shaw is just one of those guys. He's got a weird batting stance, and right now it's working for him. His adjustments that he's made have been awesome. He's been so good. He came through tonight when you needed him. Again, don't know why he was out of the game in the 9th, but he came through when you needed him. And he continues to play, honestly, at an elite level. Darren asks or talks about Matthew Boyd coming out earlier in the game. To be honest with you, I do think tonight would have been a night where I also would have, I agree with that. I would have liked to see Craig Counsell maybe be a little more aggressive in terms of taking Matthew Boyd out. Your bullpen, for the most part, has been nails recently. And the Giants were attacking him very well. So I probably would have liked him, honestly, for today to come out in the 5th inning. I know his pitch count wasn't that high, and he deserves the benefit of the doubt to power through. But I just don't feel like he wasn't as great as he normally is. The Giants had a great game plan against him, and it just worked. So it's a bummer of a Cubs loss for sure. They got 2 games left in the series. Got to win the next 2. Got to keep winning series. Got to put the pressure on Milwaukee. Colin Ray going tomorrow. Shota going the next one in the game after that. So we'll see what happens over the next 2 games. But you just got to keep finding a way to win games. So hopefully the Cubs can get back on track tomorrow. We'll be back with you here super late, probably 11:15, 11:30 at night tomorrow night as well. So for those of you watching live on YouTube, shout out to you for hanging out with me here at 11:33 p.m. on a Tuesday night. For those listening anywhere else, either later here on YouTube or on Apple or Spotify, thank you to you. As always, we'll be back with you guys tomorrow night. Have a good one.